Hello and welcome back, and if you're new, so glad you could join us. Before experiencing this strange period we're all in, my life, much like that of many others, was fast-paced, quick, busy, and I loved it. It made me feel like I was very productive, successful, on track towards building something great for my future. And I definitely was and still am. But in the process of doing that, as mindful as I tried to be about things, the moments I could truly slow down, relax, and breathe were definitely not enough. Naturally, the idea of being in isolation, not being able to control my day as I wanted to, was frankly quite scary, stirring up anxieties of all sorts. Now, having spent a month and counting in isolation, away from all those things that have been part of my daily life for the past 2 years, I'm teaching myself to focus on what is in front of me. In this video, I want to share with you what these things are and how you too can appreciate the smaller, simpler things that have been surrounding you lately through easy but effective habits. My first consideration is to make the most out of small daily moments that might sound a little bit cliche and in the overall picture might not seem like really that important, but once you start to notice them, it will just make you much more aware of your surrounding. And this might also just be appreciating the time you're spending with your family or with your roommate, with your partner, whoever it might be, but also just going on walks if you have the ability to in nature and appreciating the sounds of the birds, the heat of the sun, maybe through smelling the coffee in the morning or smelling those freshly baked goods that just came out of the oven. Whatever your daily looks like, try and acknowledge and appreciate these moments. My second habit that I am trying to develop and that I realized it has been helping me through these times is to set attainable intentions and goals that you have for this period, but not in a way that will place counterproductive pressures on you. So I'm not necessarily talking about learning a language or an instrument or, I don't know, writing a novel, though by all means, if this is what you want to take on, then that's amazing. But just check in with yourself and with what makes you happy right in this moment and from what you will actually benefit from. Maybe learn a new dish from another cuisine that's different from the one you're used to, or maybe read a little more, take on a new form of physical movement, or learn about some new topic or subject that you've just always wanted to learn about, like I'm, for example, trying to do with slow living and also the practice of Ayurveda. These for me also look like daily goals, and if you're into the rush that you get when you tick things off lists, or even if you're not, then just try and give some overview structure to your next day. I do this by, for example, literally taking 2 minutes before going to bed to just write down small things I want or need to accomplish in the following day. This keeps me a bit more organized, both practically and mentally. The third habit I'm suggesting to you today is to acknowledge how you feel, which might not always be unicorns and butterflies, and trying to see what the reasons for such feelings are. And it sounds much harder than it is, so here is how. But I'm not going to lie to you. When a friend of mine introduced me to it, I just thought, honestly, I have better things to do and I know how I feel already, so really there's no need for me to write it down. But man, was I wrong. Journaling has helped me so much to just make sense of how I feel in certain days or in certain moments, and it helps if you do this during a specific time of the day. Let this be perhaps the morning or the evening, just a recollection of things that happened to me on the day. During this quarantine, I've also picked up a second type of journaling, which is essentially a gratitude journal. I still don't have a lot to say about it, I'm still playing around with it, but it simply consists in writing down 3 things that you're grateful for on that day. Nice and simple, 3 words. I've not been very consistent with it, to be fair, that's one of my goals, but when I do acknowledge these 3 things, it just makes me feel overall so much more appreciative. This is all I have to share with you today. I genuinely hope that you got something out of it. Live slow, appreciate more, and be happier. In the meantime, please take care of your physical and mental health, and I'll see you in the next video. Much love, Camilla Elizabeth.